Example of someone refusing to say, I don't know. A lot of you know who this is in the frame and what this is about already from it immediately. So I'm going to be covering a very simple and technical subject if I can. You're working at a police station and you know the value of a chain of evidence and unaltered evidence. And you're standing here looking at all of these options. A, save evidence as a executable for Windows. B, save it as 3GP or convert to AVI. Now the wording here, yes, I've altered the image so that we can get an image of it so we can actually see something. The way computer programmers imply or save things or explain things isn't really subtle. The word export native 3GP file should be there. It isn't. It says save as something. But if you see something next to edit that says snapshot as a JPEG or bitmap, meaning compressed or raw, or convert to AVI, which means change the file. What this means is that if you're handed a bunch of files and some nitwit hit save as executable for some god-awful reason, that means that most likely when you hit save as 3GP, I said most likely, it's saving the raw file. Now it's a 3 hour and 6 minute video. It's actually 3 hours and 7 minutes really, and it has built-in time and date stamps. It's security video, but a company that makes software that is obviously going to be used to make security recordings doesn't have a word in bright red flashing letters in the user interface that says export raw video for court usage. This is when you go to the company and say, we're going to put you in contempt of court just because we can get away with it. If you don't say the words, I don't know what I'm talking about, I'm just a stooge in a suit. And the programmers, after throwing 90% of the people running the company in jail, the programmers would be walked in and said, do any of you know the actual directory structure in the system where the raw files are kept that are used by this program? If you say yes and you don't know, and we can prove you don't know, because we're going to have waptek test you, you go to prison for 5 years. Now, do you want to say I don't know instead of being an egotistical twat? And I bet you 90% of them will shut their mouths and refuse to answer and take the fifth. And one guy will say, yeah, I'm the stooge that wrote the interface. It's in their directory called name of product / backup or raw / something. What file format? 3GP or whatever. It could be MPEG, it could be MP3, it could be MP4, whatever file format it was stored in as a container. And he'll tell you where the raw files are. And you say, thank you. Now, did you write the interface to export raw files? Yeah, it does. It just repackages them by renaming them 3GP, because 3GP files are actually not just a renaming, but it is a container format. It contains the video. Now, I'm going to repeat myself ad nauseum to be an annoying jackass. Dumping a file on the internet that's an executable that then gets examined by a virus scanner and acting like it's going to be an unaltered copy of a file means that you have failed at the basics of being a computer person. Again, every single police station has to have a geek employed with the legal right to taser to death anybody who doesn't say the words, I don't know, or I'm unqualified. They should be legally forbidden from touching a computer, or even saying the word computer, or be humiliated online publicly by telling them you have to admit you don't know what you're doing. Okay, I'm done with my rant. Vivotech Incorporated, VMS Media Player Stub, version 1 point whatever, 2009 to 2011. Now I can tell you for a fact what that means is that a 3 hour 6 minute video that takes up 27 megabytes, video surveillance files packaged as an executable with an entire player in it that was obtained by the Rosemont Public Safety Police Department from the Crown Plaza Hotel at O'Hare or wherever in the course of their investigation of the death of someone does actually contain the raw files. But this is what they got as a response from a lawyer that wouldn't hire a fucking geek. Your request for surveillance video footage in its native format has not been satisfying. It does not satisfy requirements of the Freedom of Information Act because you have not stated your inability to reasonably access the requested footage online. While that's technically true because you're a fucking lawyer, you didn't say hit export as that other format or save as. Don't say convert, and then you'll have the files because they're encapsulated in it. Which was a dumb idea, but they could have just said that. But no, what they did is the lawyers did the thing that would let them make more money by making an inevitable second request for information. Should you still wish to obtain a copy of the hard drive of the request, please provide me with your requested address for the delivery so that we can inform you of the costs. And then they say it's $50 because they're going to put it on a hard drive because they said we can't put it on a thumb drive. And then someone else talks about how you can't hand a thumb drive to the police because they'll blank it. So you have to burn it to a CD. And another person talks about how you can't get the raw files off a hard drive because magically, somehow, nobody knows where they are. What this means is that the lawyers didn't hire a hacker, the police didn't hire a hacker, the Crown Plaza didn't hire a hacker, their security people are incompetent, and they do not know what it means to have a raw file. And the program that was written to do all this probably wasn't written for dealing with real cases with real security video. Again, if you hit save as 3GP, that is most likely, but I can't confirm it, the raw file format that the file was in. The files will be in raw format, it's just an encapsulator. Considering how enormous some of them are, the 3GP file is probably it. Don't hit convert to anything, but it probably contains it. What the lawyers are hinting at is they may have talked to a hacker or a geek who said, yeah, it does contain the raw files. But instead of saying it's save as 3GP and you'll have the raw files, they decided to lawyer up and make sure they get more money by responding to another Freedom of Information Act request. And it was the mayor's office, by the way. The media player application here is an encapsulator as an executable, which is dumb as dog shit. Number one. Number two, all they had to do was say the raw file format is 3GP or MP4 and where the files are. They didn't because they don't know. And again, ignorant people shouldn't touch computers or be in a courtroom. And yes, I have ripped apart, because someone was stupid, the CEO of a local company in Portland who showed up acting like he knew what he was talking about. And I made him say under oath, I don't know what I'm talking about and I'm incompetent in this area. And I said to the judge, thank you for letting me ruin this man's entire existence because he wouldn't say the magic 3 words, I don't know. And then I said, he's not leaving the bench, leave him up there. Who at your company knows how the software works? And he says, my son. I'm like, good, where is he? He's right there. And I look over and his son is just literally gritting his teeth, just wanting to strangle his father for being an idiot. And then what happened? His son got up and said, in this case, it was an audio recording. The audio recording file format is it's an Apple audio format. I forgot the name of it. And it's stored under a specific directory structure. And he quoted it verbatim. And I said, thank you. Is that hard drive physically here and unaltered? And he said, yes. And he added, I prevented the police from starting the computer because that would be dumb as dog shit. That got everybody in the room laughing, especially me. The police didn't like hearing it. And I asked the judge to shut the other person up while I was doing this work. I got to take over as being the attorney because only I could communicate properly. And then I asked, where's the drive? It's right there, it's evidence. All right, load it into a read-only reader. He's like, the only way I can do that is with Linux. And then I'm like, yes, that's why you're loading it. And they loaded it up, and then the case resolved itself because people stopped refusing to say, I don't know. And I'm going to say, I don't know if 3GP is actually the export format that's raw. Because the company that made the software won't tell anybody what it is. Because they keep putting it in grandma mode, as we used to call it. You know, where you don't know the extension of your file, and you can double-click a program and not know that it's a program. Yeah. Those days were supposed to be over with. They're not. Anyway, the most likely thing is that this lady was inebriated and she was over the legal limit for being able to drive, but that doesn't mean much. And she died from hypothermia by walking into a freezer within a freezer and got too cold and actually died from hypothermia. But we don't have the raw video data because someone somewhere won't eat a little crow and be honest. And they're still not doing it as of this year. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that.